It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I've had everything under control for so long. For years, I've cast my spells, weaving them into the very fabric of my life, bending reality to my will. My beauty, my charm, my perfect life, it was all crafted by my hand. I was the queen among mortals, untouchable. But now, it's all slipping away. Faster than I can fix it. It started small. Just little things at first, my hairbrush getting stuck in what was supposed to be silky, flowing hair, but now tangled and brittle. I thought it was just stress. I laughed it off, whispered a quick glamour spell, and went about my day. But the next day, I noticed something worse. My reflection. I'd charmed the mirror years ago, made sure it always showed me as I wanted to be seen, young, flawless, radiant. But when I looked at it that morning, I didn't recognize the face staring back at me. There were lines around my eyes. My skin was pale, almost gray, and my lips, once plump and pink, had turned thin and cracked. I panicked, of course. I muttered the words of another spell, something to fix it, to restore the mask of perfection. But nothing happened. I tried again. And again. Nothing. That was the first time I felt real fear. It crawled up my spine and settled in my chest, heavy and suffocating. But I told myself it was just a fluke, just one spell gone wrong. I'd fix it. I always do. Then people started to notice. I was at dinner with Aaron, a charming man who had been completely under my spell for months. He adored me. They all did. That night, though, something changed. He kept staring at me, his brow furrowed, as if he couldn't quite place what was wrong. I cast a quick charm under my breath, something to soften his thoughts, to smooth over any doubts he might have. But instead of leaning in, his gaze turned cold. He recoiled, actually recoiled, like he couldn't stand the sight of me. You look different," he muttered, his voice filled with disgust. "I don't know why I ever." He trailed off, shaking his head, and before I could stop him, he got up and left. He didn't call. He didn't text. And he wasn't the only one. One by one, they all left. Every person I'd ensnared, every life I'd woven myself into, began to slip through my fingers. It was like the spells were unraveling, like I was being exposed for what I truly am. I tried casting stronger spells, rituals that had always worked before. But they all backfired. Every incantation, every charm, failed. And not just failed, reversed. Instead of becoming more beautiful, more desirable, I became something else. I could feel my skin tightening, cracking. My hair, once long and golden, now came out in clumps every time I ran my fingers through it. My teeth ached, and when I looked in the mirror, I saw my gums bleeding, my eyes sunken, dark. I couldn't hide it anymore. People saw me, truly saw me. The fear, the disgust in their eyes was impossible to ignore. They saw the monster underneath the glamour, the witch I had always been hiding. And then the scratches started. At first, I thought I was doing it in my sleep. I'd wake up with long, jagged cuts down my arms, across my chest, like I'd been clawing at myself. But the wounds were too deep, too deliberate. And they burned. Like fire under my skin. I tried casting stronger spells, rituals that had always worked before. But they all backfired. Every incantation, every charm, failed. And not just failed, reversed. Instead of becoming more beautiful, more desirable, I became something else. I could feel my skin tightening, cracking. My hair, once long and golden, now came out in clumps every time I ran my fingers through it. My teeth ached, and when I looked in the mirror, I saw my gums bleeding, my eyes sunken, dark. I couldn't hide it anymore. People saw me, truly saw me. The fear, the disgust in their eyes was impossible to ignore. They saw the monster underneath the glamour, the witch I had always been hiding. And then the scratches started. At first, I thought I was doing it in my sleep. I'd wake up with long, jagged cuts down my arms, across my chest, like I'd been clawing at myself. But the wounds were too deep, too deliberate. And they burned. Like fire under my skin. I knew what it meant. The contract. The deal I made. It was running out. I had thought I had more time, thought I could stretch it just a little longer. But the devil doesn't forget. He never forgets. The bruises came next. Dark, violent marks that spread across my body like ink, blooming under my skin without reason. I could feel them forming, even as I sat still, like invisible hands pressing down, leaving their mark. And the vomiting, oh God, the vomiting. At first, it was just bile, but soon it turned to blood. Thick, black blood, pooling in the back of my throat, filling my mouth until I could barely breathe. I've tried every spell I know, but nothing stops it. My body is failing. It's breaking, piece by piece, and I know why. He's coming for me. I hear whispers in the night now. When I try to sleep, I can feel his presence, creeping closer, watching. Waiting. The deal we made all those years ago was simple. He would give me power, beauty, control over anyone I wanted. And in return, when my time was up, he would take me. Not just my life, but my soul. I knew the cost, but I didn't care. I thought I had time. I thought I could cheat him, find a way out before the contract came due. But there's no way out. I can feel him, closer with each passing day. Every spell I cast only speeds up the process. The scratches, the bruises, the blood, they're all signs. Warnings that my time is running out. That soon, I'll be his. And it won't be quick. I know that. The devil doesn't just take. He punishes. I've seen glimpses of what's waiting for me in the darkness, endless agony, fire that burns but never consumes, screams that echo for eternity. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to be dragged into the pits of hell, to suffer for all I've done. I've cursed so many, manipulated their minds, made them love me, made them worship me, all for my own gain. But none of it matters now. The power, the beauty, the control, it's all slipping away. I can feel my body rotting from the inside out. My skin is peeling, my bones ache with every step, and the blood never stops. The spells that once protected me now choke me, twisting in on themselves, suffocating me in my own darkness. I made my deal. I signed away my soul. And now, he's coming to collect. I can only hope it's quick. But I know it won't be. I'm so scared.